أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد.
السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Tonight, Zainab, وما أدراك ما Zainab, a personality that is incredible in terms of human history, that her positions, her stance, her courage, her patience should not just be taught in terms of majalis. It should be taught in universities around the world, because the positions that she took are really, really incredible when you look back and if you just study the event. How can someone in her position, and back then women were not that strong. Women didn't have a voice the way they have it now. So it was a lot harder to voice your opinion. So how does that echo time? And how do we learn from it and we receive that echo now? How do our women take the positions of Zainab? Zainab was extremely responsible. She took the flag right after her brother because she knew her position in history. So our women need to know their position in history now. Just like Zainab knew her position, our women need to know their position now. That the crown you wear on your head, honor it, respect it, understand what it stands for. Just like Al-Abbas was a flag, you're also the flag. That's not a light position. I can mold myself into any situation. I can become something different if I choose to, as a male. For you, it's not as easy. So our sisters, their task is much harder sometimes than the male side. So on that level, Zainab alayhi salam was an incredible woman in history. The responsibility that she had, that after Imam Hussein alayhi salam, when she stepped out of the tent and she went to Abu Abdullah alayhi salam after the massacre. The first thing she says, she puts her hand underneath the body and she says, رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا هَذَا. She's emphasizing the goal, again, in front of everyone. To have a tongue like that, and to have a heart like that, in front of just monsters in front of you, beasts, in terms of their animalistic nature, that someone like Imam Hussein holds the baby up, and he signs history like we said a couple days ago, to show the treachery of a person who can launch an arrow at an innocent little baby. Imam Hussein is signing the time so we get the message now. Make sure you don't end up on the wrong side. Imam Hussein is signing history. Zainab is continuing history. And I said before, I'm sorry sisters, Zainab is not for you. Zainab is for the males just as much as for the females. Zainab's heart cannot be duplicated that easy. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much muscles you have, it doesn't matter to me. This thing needs to be trained. And it's not in the gym. I'm sorry, it's not in the gym. Do you know where you need your training? In your sujood. That's where the training happens. You have to build the mental muscle to allow the heart to submit just a little bit further each day. That's Zainab. It's not physicality. Try to lift mental weight instead of physical weight. Mental weight is much heavier. Mental weight is the challenge you face in your life. That's the mental weight. Mental weight is a lot heavier than physical weight, and I'll give you an example. You haven't slept for 2 days. You're extremely tired. Extremely tired. You just look at your bed and your eyes are just closing. You decide, you know what, I'm just gonna take a quick shower, and now you're even more tired. Put on your best pajamas, and now you're moving towards your bed. You slip yourself into your bed, and you have David comforters. You're literally, your cover is like this thick. And you begin to close your eyes. Bam. You remember you forgot to brush your teeth. Think of the weight in that moment. Oral hygiene, one thought. On the other side, you have your present comfort. Two thoughts connected to two different emotions. How much emotion for you to get up for your oral hygiene? Almost zero. That's mental weight. That's mental weight. It's a lot. Is there anything holding you down? There's nothing holding you down but your thought process. So don't think it's just easy to make a decision. It doesn't work that way. You can go to the gym all day, train your body all day, but when it's time to get in a fight, your heart might not follow you. It might not. When the challenge comes, the heart might not follow. So Zainab was the epitome of courage. She wasn't just courage, she taught courage. Through her words, through her actions. So I'm sorry, sisters, she's not just for you. She's not. Because the heart, as I said before, has no gender. Faith has no gender. And you know what's going on with the gender issues now. They've turned us against each other. So many ways. They've turned us literally against each other. That you don't even know if it's a male or a female anymore. This is the times that our kids have to grow up. So the challenges are becoming harder and harder and harder. But don't lose faith, because Zainab is in our corner. Our women are strong. Our women are thinking. And our women will stand up to the challenge, because we have a pillar. We have something like that. So representation of truth is in Zainab. So what can we learn from Zainab? It's something that happened way back then. Why you Shia? Why you celebrate? Why you do this every year? You guys do the same thing over and over and over. Why? It's okay. It happened so long ago. Why? Because of these principles that transcend time. Principles don't change. The heart either adapts to the principle and submits to the principle, or it doesn't. Principles don't change within time. They don't. They stay the same. And Zainab is sending you and me a message. Are you going to receive it? Is your heart going to submit to it? The next time you need to stand up and be courageous, can you do it? Say something in front of someone that's doing something wrong. Can you do it, or are you afraid? Or can you have the patience of Zainab? She was a mountain of patience. How do you have that kind of patience that Imam Ali alayhi salam teaches that level? She applies. And tonight you're going to see how the father teaches the principle. The son applies the principle. And the daughter takes the highest level of the principle. She does the hardest part. 1, 2, 3. Incredible. When you search for this stuff, search for it. You don't have to listen to me. I'm not it. I'm just someone trying to be by the what? The gate at the end. I'm just trying like you. And I'm failing every day. Just like you. But you do your research. You look into history. Pull out the principles that when you apply them, and you download them into your hard drive, then you connect them to your heart, and then apply them in life, and you get amazing results. And you wonder how. How does this stuff happen? Because the principles are intact. So you should feel protected because we have that. So it doesn't matter what the challenge is. Zainab's challenge wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. But that's a woman. But her women need to take the responsibility and carry her flag. That's what we need. Extremely important. Our women need to do that. And they need to step up. So I'm sorry. If you're on Instagram, TikTok, be extremely careful. Your hijab is way too precious. Who you are is way too precious. Understand that. What you've been given is incredible. Protect it. Protect it. Don't just give it away. What you have is something incredible. Hold it with honor and dignity and respect. And watch yourself in the world. Don't post the things you shouldn't post. And the hijab is also for the brothers too. And now you see, it's all over. It's all over. Be extremely careful with who you present to and how you represent yourself in the world. And now social media is all over. It's all over. You want to connect to anywhere in the world, you can connect. So hold the flag properly. Hold your dignity and honor and respect properly. Just like Zainab did. So how do you gain the courage of Zainab? How do you gain the patience of Zainab? That Ibn Ziyad, when he was describing Zainab, he says she was courageous like her father. Wow, what a statement. She had the courage. Imam Ali was known as the Lion of Allah. That's hard. How do you stand like that? And I guarantee you, not many men can take the positions she took. Not many men can have the eloquence of her tongue. And not many men can hold the courage that sat in her heart. Not many people can do that. That's a woman. But these are our women. This is who we have. Try to find a duplicate. Go ahead. Search history. Try to find a duplicate of these actions. And if you do, follow them. Follow them. But this is who we have. These are our women. So on that level, when you begin to understand Zainab, you begin to feel some sense of truth. You want women empowerment? Go back to Zainab. See, when she stands up to a male, right? Because they turned us on each other, right? Male. A woman should not go into her masculinity if she doesn't need to. And a man shouldn't go towards his femininity if he doesn't need to. There's a reason we're created a certain way. It's like a battery. Positive and a negative. What happens when you reverse the polarity? It destroys the cells inside. So a man needs a woman, and a woman needs a man. For what? She needs his protection. And he needs her affection. Simple. It's not hard. It's not hard. But we flipped a million different things in this society. So now, how do you have patience? How do we have patience? 3 levels, and I go through this really quick. There's 3 levels to patience. The first level of patience, and if you can graduate through these levels, then you have it. You have it. This is by Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. He says the first level is at-thiqatu billah. Think of Zainab in this moment. And she's standing in front of Yazid. Who's going to protect her? Imam Hussein's not there anymore. Imam Sajjad is sick. What does she have? Physically, who can protect her? You tell me. Who? No one. Is she scared? She's not scared. She holds up the banner. She's not scared. Doesn't waver. Why? Because athiqatu billah. I have that reliance on Allah. That, Ya Allah, whatever is happening to me, this is good for me. And Ya Allah, if I want something and it's not good for me, don't give it to me. I'm submitting to your will. I'm submitting to your want. I don't want my want to lead. Abu Dhar was asked, what do you want? He said, I want what Allah wants for me. When I want something, understand. And if I don't get it, understand. And then dig further. Why do I want it? It might not be good for you. So now when that happens, the first level is athiqatu billah. That whatever is happening to me is what? Best for me. Because Allah knows best. So when you hit a wall, you don't sit under the wall and cry. What do? Sit under the wall and reflect. Think, Ya Allah, something was behind this. I don't know what it is. It might be the worst thing for me, but I want it. I want it. I'm striving for it. I get up and I hit the wall again. And again. And again. And Allah's telling you, no, don't go there. Don't go there. And then one day Allah opens that for you. Because you're so stubborn. And now what happens? You see what was behind the wall. And you say, Ya Allah, now I understand. So whatever is happening to you is good for you. It's good for you. Have that thiqah. Have that reliance on Allah, that He's with you. And when you don't get something you want, say, Ya Allah, there's something behind this. I trust you. I don't know what's behind it, but I trust you. Now if you do that, what are you doing? You're beginning to reflect. You'll get back up and you'll go around the situation. You'll realize, okay, I'm going to leave this road. I'm going to try something different. But now, why does that go to another level? Why do you go to another level? Because if you go deeper, now what are you doing? You're saying, I'm relying on who? Allah Azza wa Jal. But if I don't, and I'm going back to myself, and I'm hitting the wall again, who am I relying on? My own ego. So Allah's forcing you back to who? Allah's forcing you back to Him. When you hit a wall, He's forcing you back to Him. Come back to me. I'm what you need. I'm your place of security. I'm your place of safety. So now you go back to Allah. And now, our ulama say, this is where you begin to exchange al-ladha fi tark al-ladha. I let go of something that I want. For what? The pleasure of something greater. So think about this. Imagine you can get to a point in your heart that I can actually, the want that I have towards something, when I go into sujood, I have a greater pleasure. So let me ask you this. Imam Ali alayhi salam lifted the gates of Khaybar. But in some hadith, they say he couldn't break a piece of bread. Huh? That doesn't make sense. I'm sure you've all heard it. How does that work? This is the way it works. This is Imam Ali alayhi salam. Temptation. Piece of bread. When it's towards temptation, it can't control him. But when it's for Allah, he becomes the lion he is. When temptation is there, nothing. He will exchange the temptation here. For what? His sujood here. That's faith. That's all we're doing every day. Go after that. You begin to exchange the physical temptations, the worldly temptations, for the spiritual ones. This is al-ladha fi tark al-ladha. Then what happens if you hit a wall, you're having a problem? You go to Allah, you're crying, and you say, Ya Allah, help me. I'm hurting. I'm in pain. I don't know what the world's doing to me. But Ya Allah, I'm in your hands. I'm with you. And you're responsible for me. And I don't want nothing from the world. You know what you go into? The third stage. This is the level of what? Shukr. You get to a place of thankfulness, tranquility. Your heart becomes soft. And now you're crying to who? Who are you with? the world has dealt you wrong. Imam Hussein alayhi salam went to the world. He said, help this baby. What did the world launch back at him? What did it launch? It's going to launch back at you arrows too. And those arrows are dipped with poison. Some people, they're going to try to hurt you. But your heart is way too strong. Because you've gotten to a point where nothing can harm you. I'm all about gratitude. I love life. Why? Because I can do a form of what? Worship. I can worship Allah. And I can go back to Him. So on that level, this is how you build what? Patience. Build patience in that way. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
How do you build courage? How do we build this courage? How do we get to a place that's incredible? And Zainab alayhi salam, she says to Yazid, she says, Kid kayda. Plot. Planning is different than plotting. Different. When you plot, there's something in your heart that has malice in it. There's a personal gain that you want. It's selfish. You're plotting. Plotting is different. What's asayak? And go, see what you're going to end up. Keep moving on your road. She said, Wallahi, Allah, la tamhi. You will never, what? Remove our remembrance. She's now pointing the flag towards what? She's pointing the arrow towards who? This is the goal of the other side. She mentions the goal of Imam Hussein in the beginning. She says, تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا هَذَا. This is a sacrifice for you, for me, for the stage to be set. That Karbala will always live. Doesn't matter. Karbala will always live. They'll never end. So, on that level, I'm going to give you a scale from Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And this is where we see from the top to who? To Zainab alayhi salam. Imam Ali in Nashr Balagha in 373. Short sayings in the back. He has a beautiful hadith. Read it. Reflect on it. He talks about al-amr bil-ma'ruf wal-nahy al-munkar. To enjoy the good and forbid evil. This is what he says. Let's all put ourselves on this scale. Me, you, everyone. Put yourself on this scale. You want to see if you were in that camp of Imam Hussein alayhi salam? You want to see if you would have stepped up? Here's your gauge. Here's how you can see if your heart had it or didn't. Or you can step up to Yazid. And as he's kind of like hitting Imam Hussein's face, says, what do you see? What do you see? What do you think of what Allah has done to your brother? She says, Wallahi ma ra'aytu wa illa jameel. I see nothing but beauty. How do you say something like that? How? Think about these statements. How does a heart get to that level? That I see nothing but beauty. How? How do you see something like that? How? What kind of heart do you have to have? So now, Imam Ali starts, he says, when someone sees an act of evil being done, he says the first group, 4 groups, first group, he says this person feels the wrong. He says something about it, and she says something about it, and then what? They do something about it. Heart, tongue, hands. They do something about it. Second level, second group. They feel. They feel it. You know when you see someone doing something wrong, you just feel it in your heart? And some people, like imagine someone just doing something to a child, and they're standing right next to you, and you're not involved. A lot of people say, it's not my problem. They feel it though. They feel it in their heart. But it's not my problem. And some people know. They choose to what? Say something. But the second group, does this. They feel, they say, but they don't do. Third group, they feel, they don't say, and they don't do. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, this person has let go of the greater two. So subhanAllah. Watch the heart, how it gets weaker and weaker and weaker. This is for you to test yourself and for me to test myself. He says the fourth group, they don't feel, they don't say, they don't do. He says this person is a dead man walking. Look around you now. Look at our social structure. Look at how many people are actually dead. And Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, الناس نيام إذا ماتوا انتبهوا. He says people are asleep. When they die, they wake up. Look how many people are around you now. Look, just look around. Don't be a part of that group. Don't. Now let's take it a little further. This is where Zainab comes in. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, what did he rise for? ليأمر بالمعروف ولينهى عن المنكر. Imam Ali says it. Imam Hussein is applying it. Now watch the hardest part of it. Who applies it? Who? Our what? Our women. Know who you are. Know what you represent in this world. And it's just not representation for you. It's a representation for who? For the males as well. She's a lion on the inside. Try to stop her. She's my hero. And I'm sorry, she's not just yours. So on that level, Imam Ali says, he says, everything you do in this life, everything, your Hajj, everything that you do in ibadat is like a drop in the ocean of al-amr al-ma'ruf wal-nahy al-munkar. Why? Because at the time of Imam Hussein, al-amr al-ma'ruf wal-nahy al-munkar was no longer. Just like now. Try to say something to someone. Try. It's gone. There's no social rules of regulation. There's nothing. Everyone's individualized. Every mind has its own laws and regulations and has its own emotions. What I feel, I want to do. Try to say something to someone. You can't. You can't anymore. Same time at Imam Hussein. So that's why Imam Hussein rose to protect you and me. Now. So now he goes further. He says, your wealth and your health, when you take a position, will not be what? You will not forgo them. You will not lose health and wealth. If you what? If you stand with good and forbid evil. Let's say you see someone stealing, and it's your boss. But he has a boss. And you know if you tell about him, you're going to get fired. Or something's going to happen, it's going to hurt you. Now what's going to happen? You're going to think, oh my God, I'm scared. I'm going to lose my job. Something's going to affect me. Imam Ali is telling you what? You're not going to lose. You're not going to lose, but we're afraid to lose. We're afraid. We're afraid to take a position because we're going to lose something. Imam Ali is telling you, you will not lose anything. Just do you have the courage to stand? Do you have the courage to do that? Now watch this. This is the epitome of truth. And he says the hardest part of al-amr bil-ma'ruf wa nahy al-munkar, the hardest part is to say what? To say a just word in front of a tyrant. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Who did that? Who did that in these nights? Who? Who stood up in front of Yazid? Who? And he said, everything that you do, Imam Ali, everything is like a drop in the ocean of al-amr al-ma'ruf wa nahy al-munkar. But the hardest part of it is what Zainab did on that night, on that day, when she stood in front of him. I said, Kid Kaidak, how do you have that kind of ability for the tongue to speak the way it did, for the heart to have the emotions that it has? How do you stand like that? Study that. Study it. This is your way to stay on the path. And when the challenges come your way, and the challenges come my way, this is what we have to study. This is Zainab. So don't lose track of what the world's trying to feed us. Let's not follow those narratives. They're all trying to get you to where? The wrong place. Let's adhere to our women. Let's adhere to our lions and our men who took and paved the way. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to reconstruct the way. All we have to do is what? Just walk it. Just walk the path. That's all you need. You don't need anything else. And that's the truth. But it's so hard these days. It's difficult. Because the heart wants to what? Just wants what it wants. So please, hold on to your principles. And sink them into your heart. Then water them with your emotions. And if you can do that, what sprouts up onto your actions, your limbs, and the way you speak, the way you move, the way you actually conduct yourself, there's nothing that can touch you. Nothing in this world can touch you. I promise you that. Just hold on to that truth and hold on to the path so you can get to the gate. So you can enter the city. So Allah sees you in a different way. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.